good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to the Idle Talk Mini. Today we're going to talk about the newest episode of Mando. You already know it's Mando with your boy, Airbag favorite, whatever you want to call me. So let's start. Okay, so we're going to start off with, I know I hate this bitch. The bitch from that Doctor episode walking around in Coruscant looks a lot like Blade Runner, the lights, the cloud, the atmosphere, I was like, damn, this looks a lot like Blade Runner. But she's walking around Coruscant looking for meeting up with a probe droid for Gideon, which, by the way, I fucking called it. I knew that bitch was a traitor. I knew she was working for Gideon. Fuck that hoe. And so she reports to him that the Mandos helped Navarro because he was like, yo, how the fuck did they get backup? You told me they wasn't getting backup. And she was like, now the Mandos help. And it was the two groups. And he's like, nah, they don't work together. The tribes hate each other. She's like, nah, no more. And he's like, well, this is crazy. I gotta go talk to the council. Right? So then we cut to Gideon walking down a hallway with like these force field thingies from the Phantom Menace. You know, the red force field thingies. You know what I'm talking about. And we get to look at these dope-ass new designs for, like, the Stormtroopers / Dark Troopers and his, like, guard, where their armor is made from Beskar, which we learn later, but I'm going to just talk about it right now. But this is crazy, because I've been saying this since, like, I very first started watching Star Wars. I was like, why don't they ever use better material for, like, Stormtroopers or whatever? Like, they get killed so easily. Like, they get shot so often. Like, why hasn't anyone ever made armor for them that can withstand it? So finally, someone smart enough, I guess, Gideon, right, uses Beskar to their benefit, which kind of makes sense, because Gideon got free a few episodes earlier, because he was, like, trapped in, like, a prison ship thing, but they got blown up, and they found Beskar in it, and we never got any answers for it. So this is my theory. My theory is that he probably offered the Empire the Beskar that he had, or the fact that he can make, like, Beskar armor for troopers, maybe, and maybe that's why they let him out, right? So whatever. We get back to him walking down this aisle, right? And then while he's walking down this aisle, he's walking past these cloning tubes, which, by the way, we keep hinting back to the fact that Palpatine is getting reincarnated over and over. The project is called Necromancer, which, by the way, means raising the dead, which is really fucking funny. And yeah, he walks past them. He goes to a meeting with high-ranking officials called the Shadow Council. I didn't know most of the people, but the mustache guy, I was like, I feel like I know him. I heard his voice before. And I'm pretty sure he's, like, Thrawn's second in command. He even mentioned Thrawn at one point, so I'm pretty sure that's right. We also see some other guy in there that's he's called, like, Hux or something, and I was like, is he related to the Hux of the sequel trilogies where like Rey and all of them are from? And so he's in this meeting asking for backup because the Mandos are gonna retake Mandalore, and then he's like, fuck Gideon, like, he don't even show up to the meetings. Like, who cares about this guy? And we're like, you know what, you right, bro. Like, they turned on him really quickly. And he's like, I need reinforcements. I need Praetorian guards, which are like those red guards in the Emperor's throne room, Snoke's throne room, and the sequel series. And I was like, damn. And he needs bombardiers, or like bombardments, like the things that bombed Mandalore originally. And then later on, we cut to Navarro, where we see Grief Karga in his office, and we see like this Empire ship flying above, and his droid is like, yo, the Empire's here, or whatever. And then he's like, no, look, if you see the paint on the big mythosaur score on the paint, like, these are the homies. The homies is here. And I was like, that's a really cool scene, like, where the shot looked really cool. Like, where we see the underneath of it. We see it in a lot of the other Star Wars film, and it was cool to see the Mando skull painted on it, the mythosaur skull. And then so they land, and then they have a Mando off for, like, the masked ones, and then the unmasked ones are, like, looking each other in the face. And the armor comes out, it's like, tink, tink, and she's like, all right, guys, we chilling. Y'all make camp over there. We gonna make camp over here. And then Grief Karga comes through and is like, yo, Mando, take this fancy wine. It's like a homecoming gift type shit. Like, take this fancy wine from Coruscant. And he's like, yo, but there's a lot of y'all, bros. It's not that big of a bottle, so split it with a small party. But he also tells them that he has another gift. So he goes into his office, and he shows him their rebuilt IG-11, which finally they fucking did something with this dumbass plot in the fucking beginning of the show where I was like, what did they do with this robot that they brought up? They finally bring him up. They rebuilt him into IG-12, where now he's like a little mech. So Grogu has a fucking mech now. And then is like, please don't give him this. Like, he doesn't need it. He doesn't fit in it. He's like, no, let him try. And there's buttons in the bot where Grogu can say yes or no. And so, like, then it's like, get him out. Like, he's too young. And he's like, no. And then Grief was like, no, let him try it out. Like, let him run around the office and shit. And he's like, yes. And so that's funny as hell. And then we see them walking down Navarro, like the main street. And then there's a vendor. And Grogu just picks up the thing because he's in this fucking mech now. He picks up the little, like, food and starts eating it. And then it's like, you can't just pick up food. Like, we got to pay for that. And then he has to give the vendor money. He's like, I'm sorry. And then he picks up the Mandalorian fruit and he squeezes it. He's like, dude, stop. And he's like, yes. And he just keeps pressing the buttons. And he's like, oh my God, this sucks. And then we cut to the Mando camp now at nighttime. And by the way, did they fucking cook the birds? They cooked the birds, bro. They cooked the birds that they found as foundling, because that's mad fucked up that they cooked them. The two birds, it was just two fucking birds being like spit roasted over, like big birds spit roasted over fire. And I was like, there's no way they cooked the birds that they said they were going to keep. That's funny as shit. And then from there, in the camp, Bo-Katan gives a speech about how they wanted to retake the planet, but they need volunteers from both tribes, and they have to do it together. It was a really good speech, a really good scene. And then all the main characters volunteer. So Paz Vizsla, the big boy Mando, the armorer Bo-Katan is going, Mando, Din Djarin, and then the two Mandalorians that we saw Bo-Katan with, Axel, and then I forget her name, WWE wrestler lady that Nando told me about. Her, like all the main ones, and then a few side characters all like volunteered to go to Mandalore. And then we jump to, so now we're on the planet of Mandalore. All the ships are there. And then Bo-Katan is like, all right, we're like, she's getting to a point where they can like drop down and survey that landing areas. And that's a really cool scene where all the Mandos go drop and they're like, shoo, and they drop down. And it's cool as fuck. And then like, yeah, we're cool. Like, you can land. So they land. And then they find like a big like pirate ship, which is weird. It's like it looks like a big pirate ship, but it's like futuristic, and there's like surviving Mandos on it, and they recognize Bo-Katan, and they're like, are you wearing the Night Owls, or is that you, Bo-Katan Kryze? And then these two old Mandos that survived on the planet come through. I'm like, okay, sick, we got new Mandos, we got some like more Mandos, like that's cool, we have more Mandos on our side. So while they're on the ship, they're looking for the Great Forge. Bo-Katan tells you her backstory on how she lost the Darksaber. So it's actually kind of a sad backstory that like she gave it away to Gideon because that's like as an agreement, like, oh, I'll give you this, I'll put down all of our weapons if you could just like not harm anybody, don't hurt my people. And that motherfucker betrayed her. What a snake, bro. He took it and he still bombed Mandalore. Absolute fucking snake. Fuck that guy, bro. And then after, we get a scene between Bo and Din, which is really great, where he like apologizes for not understanding it. Like, he grew up seeing that like her people and her ways were like cowardly and whatever. So he apologizes, and they have a really great scene where he's like, your story isn't like, where she doesn't believe in herself to lead, and he's like, your story still isn't like finished writing, and I'm gonna be like by your side until it is. I was like, damn, bro, it's a dope ass scene between the two of them. Love that shit, right? And so then we also cut to the morning where like the two like Mandos from each side, so Axel, the guy who used to be the leader of Bo's group, and then Paz Vizsla, big boy Mando from Din's like covert, right, are playing like this Mando chess, and he keeps making up rules, and he's like, what the fuck, bro, you can't just make up rules, that's not how the game is played, you guys are savages or some shit. And he's like, either you stop talking shit or you fight me. He's like, it's on sight, bro, if you keep talking shit, we gotta fight. So he pulls out his blade and they start fighting. And bro, this Axel guy or whatever the hell his name, he keeps getting fucked up. Like, everyone beat his ass. Bo-Katan beat his ass, Paz is beating his ass. And then like Bo-Katan is like, nah, we can't intervene. That's two different tribes fighting. They have to like duke it out, which is kind of fire. And then Grogu comes in with the bot and he like separates. He's like, no, like, we don't fight, bro. Like, we are a family now. We're supposed to be together. No fighting. And it was really cute. And then Bo-Katan is like, oh, that's kind of dope. You're like, you're such a good dad, bro. You're teaching him. And then it's like, nah, bro, I didn't teach him that. I'm a demon. So on their way to the Great Forge, they run into like this big ass like creature. Which, by the way, man, what is going on with Mandalorians? They like just love living on planets where like everything is trying to kill you 24/7. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, there's like this big creature. They take it down, and then I believe there are some that are injured, and then the armorer is like, yo, I'm gonna go take them upstairs for medics. Like, I'm gonna take them back to the ship, and then Bo-Katan's like, alright, no sweat. You do that. Bow. And they dip. And then they pull up to the Great Forge, and they get ambushed. Because that's where Gideon apparently has his base, where all the homies is at, all his troopers. They get ambushed, they start shooting each other, and this is cool because like everyone has like best cars, so it's like ping, 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 ping. But for some reason, I think the Mandalorians are kind of like busted. Like they know exactly where to shoot. They one shot and everybody. They're like pow, pow, in the cracks, hit him in the cracks, and stabbing him and shit. Is such dope. But yeah, some Mandos get taken out. They get like and then they think they're winning because they start retreating, and they're like, oh, they're retreating, we're winning. Like get them. And then they get like closed off, and the most of the Mandos get locked off, and then our main Mando then gets locked off by himself, and that's where all the other troopers start like fucking putting ropes on him, and he's like flame throwing them. He's like, don't touch me. And they capture him, and then Moff Gideon comes down, and I'm like, this bitch. But that is the dopest armor I've ever seen. He has the coolest fucking looking best car, bro. Shit's all black. And he's just, he pulls up, talks all his shit the way he always does. And then he tells Bo-Katan, yo, give me that saber. That shit don't belong to you. It belongs to me. And she's like, nope. And then she turns around, runs towards the other blast door, and starts cutting a hole in it. Right? And she's cutting a hole in it. And then Gideon's like, yo, open the blast door, start shooting them so they can't get away. And while she's cutting it, Paz is like, I got it. Like, I'll cover y'all. Like, just go. He's like, pop, 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 pop. And bro, Paz is either like, I call bullshit low key, but he is a badass. Like, every time he's on scene, he is a badass. But I'm calling bullshit. Like, they're supposed to be wearing Beskar, and he's like, murking people easy. Just pop, 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 pop. Hit all of them. And I'm like, how they all just drop it like that? But whatever. Oh, but she cuts a hole in it, and she's like, all right, let's go. Come on. And he's like, nah, like, go. Like, and he like closes the blast door behind him, just takes them all out like an absolute G, the GOAT. Paz Vizsla's the fucking GOAT, bro. Alright? So they all get out, and Paz is just shooting everybody, killing everybody. Pop, 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 pop. They're all down. But while he's shooting, his gun gets hot, like it overheats, like he don't stop shooting it, and he has to drop it. And then the Praetorian guards show up, bro. I can't believe they show up, bro. They showed up. And then I'm like, damn, man, his gun is all, he don't got a gun. He just like, and he just gangster with it, bro. He like, whatever, pulls out the shield, pulls out the knife, and he's like, let's go, bro. And he starts getting his licks in, bro. But still, bro, it's too much for him. It's too much for the G. He gets put down, and I'm like, damn, rest in peace to the gangster Paz, bro. Paz Vizsla, gangster for real. And yeah, that's how that episode ends, and that sucks, bro. Cause like, we lost the G. But yo, this episode, 1,000,000 times better than the last one. So I'm gonna give this one a 9. So if you fell off, I feel like you should come back. But even if you didn't, don't. I understand why. And yeah, that's been the Idol Talk Mini, bro. I hope you enjoyed rocking with me. And peace.